Godfrey A.B. Alexander, also known as Natty, of Tempe, who resided at Spice Residential Care Facility, St. George, a furniture maker, passed away on Sunday, January 30th, 2022, at the age of 69. He was the husband of Erica Thomas Alexander in Canada, father of Tanasha Gray, father-in-law of Jason Gray, stepfather of Jennifer Surali in Canada, and Deniston Paulo Julian, grandfather of Andre, Carter, and Sydney, brother of Phyllis Michaels in the UK and Catherine Jerome in the USA, and Valentine Maggie Brown of Tempe, uncle of Jenny Wilkinson Batiste, Hilary MacDonald, Grace Charles, Richard Thomas, Alice Thomas Roberts, Hannah Thomas, Philip Thomas, Portia Paul, Merle Briggs, Bernard Charles, Andrew Charles, Ricky, Jackie, and Nikki Thomas, Dexter Jerome and family. Many other relatives and friends, including the Jerome family and friends and neighbors of Tempe, the Bocas, and Laborie. The funeral of the late Godfrey A.B. Alexander, also known as Natty, of Tempe, who resided at Spice Residential Care Facility, St. George, will take place on Wednesday, 16th March at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Garden of Remembrance Funeral Chapel, Cemetery Hill, St. George's, and interment will be at the St. George's Centre Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Anthony Rawle Bubb of Latente St. David, who resided in Brooklyn, New York, former member of the Royal Grenada Police Force attached to the Criminal Investigation Department CID, passed away on Sunday, 6th March 2022 in the USA at the age of 64. He was the husband of Sheila Celestine, father of Prudence, Kellon, Kelvin, and Kindra, grandfather of one, brother of Cynthia Karen Forrester, Cosmos, also known as Ken, Stanford, and Philip Williamson, brother-in-law of Sidney and Sharon Williamson, nephew of Phyllis Bubb, Barbara Charles Langevin, Denise Gregory Walton, Veronica Filbert, and Eugenia Francis Alexander, uncle of many cousins including Judy John Santangelo, Cheryl Shuttle, Imogen Filbert, and Lawrence Bubb. Other relatives and close friends including Gregory Bascom, Thelma McQueen, Mavis Guillaume and family, the Bubb, Hippolyte, Whiteman, Williams, and Cornwall families, and a host of loving friends and acquaintances. The funeral of the late Anthony Rawle Bubb of Latente St. David, who resided in Brooklyn, New York, USA, will take place on Wednesday, 16th March in the USA. Arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Denise John, also known as A.E., of Frequenty St. George, passed away on Saturday, 26th February 2022 at the age of 60. She was the mother of Terence, Antoinette, Christine, Vanessa, and Rakisha John, grandmother of Abella, Kimlin, Nikisha and Asher John, Vashon Philip, Hayden and Gianna Frank, sister of Dennis and Glenroy John, Perlita John, Marva, Lucinda John Cador, Yvonne John, Lenny Charles, and Jerome Stanislaus. Many nieces and nephews including Patricia, Marcus, Daniela, Danielle, Nathan and Junior John, Navona and Nevon Monroe, Felicia and Angel Cador, mother-in-law of Kelvin Francis and Akim James. Many other relatives and friends including the Bell and Griffith families of Woburn and Woodlands, the Cato family of Marion, members of Faith Deliverance Tabernacle, and friends and neighbors of Caliste and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Denise John, also known as A.E. of Frequenty St. George, will take place on Thursday, March 17th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Garden of Remembrance Funeral Chapel, Cemetery Hill, St. George's, according to Pentecostal rites, and interment will be at the Wilberforce Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Junior Peter Matthew of Windsor Forest, St. David, who resided at Caliste St. George, pastor of the Eternal Love Ministry, transitioned to glory on Thursday, 24th February 2022, at the age of 52. He was the husband of Cathy and Matthew, father of Aria Matthew, brother of Helena McKay and Teresa Joseph residing in the USA, Lynette Matthew and Leona Hazard residing in Canada, Wilma St. Bernard, Sonia Matthew, Cheryl Victor, Everest Matthew, Alice Noel, Norman and Marilyn Hall, all in Grenada. Brother-in-law of Wally Joseph, Trevor St. Bernard, Godfrey Victor, Veronica Matthew and Cheryl Hall. Nephew of Mina Sayers, Veronica Francis, Carmen Charles, Josephine Andrews and Urban Sayers. Many nieces and nephews too numerous to mention. Other relatives and friends including Trevor and Kenneth Sayers, Thomas Leslie, Alston Pope and family of Caliste, the Sayers family of Windsor Forest, the Andrews family of Post Royal, the Williams family of Rucane, Merle Mahone and family, the John family of Apretute, Martina Alexis and family of Montu, and friends and neighbors of Caliste, Windsor Forest and Apretute, church family, the pastor and members of Eternal Love Ministry Grenada and abroad, and pastors of the Pentecostal Assemblies of the West Indies. The funeral service for the late Junior Peter Matthew of Windsor Forest St. David, who resided at Caliste St. George, will take place on Thursday 17th March at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at God Lighthouse, Vincent's Pentecostal Church, St. David, and interment will be at the Windsor Forest Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home.
Charmaine Link, née Frank of Bogles, Carriacou, who resided at The Glen, Montgay and Lamode St. George, passed away on Saturday, 26th February, at the age of 41. Left to mourn her husband, Michael Link, children, Maisha and Sherman Link, parents, Cecilia Frank and Harvey Bennett, sisters, Irva and Marilyn, brothers, Anselm, Ronald, Herbert, Kevin and Nigel in Carriacou, Peter in Grenada, Mervyn in Tortola, Brian and Travis in the USA, aunts and uncles, Christina, Daniel and Raleigh in Grenada, Michael and Hendrickson in Carriacou, Betty, Stephanie and Roy in the USA, in-laws Cynthia, Brenda, Matthew, Joey and Peter in Grenada, Karina in Carriacou, Dennis in the USA and Abigail in Tortola. Many nieces and nephews and cousins in Carriacou, Grenada, the USA, England and Canada. Other relatives and friends including the Frank, Romain and Stafford families of Carriacou, Link, Tobin, Horsford, Alexander, Joseph and Bido families in Grenada. Friends at the Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses in Carriacou, Grenada and Barbados. Principal, teachers, students and staff of the Vendome Roman Catholic School, friends and neighbors of Bogles, Carriacou, The Glen, Montgay and Lamode St. George. The funeral service of the late Charmaine Link, née Frank of Bogles, Carriacou, who resided at The Glen, Montgay and Lamode St. George, will take place on Thursday, 17th March at 1 p.m. The funeral service will be held at the Grenada Trade Center according to Jehovah's Witness rites and interment at the St. George's Cemetery. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home.
Veronica Joyce Karuna Andrew, née Daniel, also known as Teacher Caro, Auntie Caro and Mrs. Black Swan, of Tuileries and De Blando St. Andrew, who resided in Florida, USA, former employee of the Ministry of Health, former teacher of the Holy Cross RC School and Paraclete Government School, passed away on Friday, 11th February 2022, at the age of 95. She was the mother of Nurse Gemma Andrew Church, Nurse Emma Andrew Venture, Teacher Leslie Andrew, also known as DJ Zion, Teacher Stanley Andrew, Army veteran Sherry Andrew, and Martin Andrew, also known as Gunny, sister of Nurse Oma Ines in New Jersey, USA, grandmother of Cassie, Sean, Curly, Crystal, Paul, Carla, Calvin, AJ, Leslie Ann, Peter, Nicole, Tavian, Samantha, Sophie, Nathan, Andrea, Devon, and Deanna, great-grandmother of 15, sister-in-law of Sheila, Meralda, Diana, DeGale, Georgie, and Earl, mother-in-law of Crafton Church, Thomas Ventu, and Alison Andrew. Many nieces and nephews, including teacher Vardy, Tonya and Vara McQueen, and Dr. Vaughan McQueen, Ken, Philbert and Phyllis Edwards, Christine and Val Daniel, Lydia Greenwich, Dr. Gloria Edwards-Joseph, Dr. Jessie Henry, Dr. Suzanne Innes, Clometha Henwood, Michael Maguire, and Louise and Teresa Daniel. Many other relatives and friends in Grenada, England, Canada, Trinidad, and the USA, including the Andrew, Henry, Mason, Edwards, Henwood, Maguire and Daniel families, Olive Rouget, Princess, Annie and Andrine and Margaret Leslie, Gracelyn, Anne Alexander, past students and teachers of the Holy Cross RC School, the Munich and Paraclete Government Schools. The funeral of the late Veronica Joyce Corona Andrew, also known as Teacher Caro, Auntie Caro, and Mrs. Black Swan, of Tuileries and De Blando St. Andrew, who resided in Florida, USA, will take place on Friday, March 18th at the Holy Cross RC Church, Brooklyn, New York, and interment will be at the Rosedale Memorial Cemetery, Linden, New Jersey, USA. Arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Rawlings Francis, also known as Stumpy, Redman, and Moneyface of Monthorn, who resided at Happy Hill St. George, died on Monday 28 February 2022 at the age of 56, left to mourn his wife Desiree Francis, 3 children Rickson Roberts, Jonathan and David Francis, daughter-in-law Rena Roberts, grandson Orion Roberts, step-granddaughter Melanie Murray, stepfather John Charles, stepmother Miss Ruby, mother-in-law Laura Scritchlow, father-in-law Desmond Sandy, brothers and sisters Dexter, Michael, brother Rodney, Daniel, Beverly, Ingrid, Lydia and Collier, brothers and sisters-in-law Marilyn, Janice, Teresa, Stacy, Shelley-Ann, Yolande, Michelle, Jerry, Shane, Sheldon and Devon, 2 aunts Clammy and Jomaine, many nieces, nephews, cousins and aunts-in-law, many relatives, friends and family, including the James family, the Simon family, the Abraham family, the Sandy and Mitchell family of Happy Hill, the pastor and members of the River and Cities Ministries, Bolio, Spice Basket, and the Assembly of Glorious Church at Happy Hill. Close friends Gillian in the USA, Marcella Pascal and family in the USA, Paula Bishop in the USA and family, Christine, Kenroy, Stephanie, Medford George and family, and James Batiste, Mr. Purcell and the staff of L.A. Purcell, River Road, Mr. Ted and family, and Chrisanne Samuel and family, Beauséjour. Many friends in the USA, Canada, England, Trinidad, and Barbados, the staff of the Morris Bishop International Airport, the airport taxi, and the communities of Monthorn and Happy Hill. The funeral service for the late Rawlings Francis, also known as Stumpy, Redman, and Moneyface of Monthorn St. Andrew, who resided at Happy Hill St. George, will take place on Monday, March 21st at 12:30 p.m., and interment will be at the Grand Bras Cemetery, St. Andrew. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Dorothy Jerome, also known as Dudu of Waltham St. Mark, passed away on Tuesday, 1st March 2022 at the age of 99. She was the mother of Moses Campbell, Daniel Jerome, Rebecca Jerome and Irene Francis in Grenada, Stanley Jerome and Ivor Bola in Trinidad, Ilis Alexander in the USA, and Iris Smith Moses in Canada. Grandmother of 36, including Janelle Alexander, Ranisa Jerome, Randy Campbell, Connie Francis Joe in the USA, and Petra Smith in Canada, and Norris Bedassi. Great-grandmother of 50, including Amika, Joshua, and Jomik Alexander. Great-great-grandmother of 5. Sister of Louise Marshall in Grenada, and Claire Williams in the USA. Mother-in-law of Calvin Moses in Canada. Grandmother-in-law of Sam Joe and Ashton Cox. Many nieces and nephews, including Len Williams, Maria Narayan, and Annette Williams. Grand-aunt of many. Many other relatives and close friends, including Ali Ambrose, Ruby Lubis, Diane Passay, Marilyn Campbell, Matthew Julian in the USA, the Williams, Marshall, Chase and Narayan families of Redmond, St. George's, Moran and Diamond, the Smith family of St. John's and St. Andrew, the Campbell family of St. John, Dudley and Leath of St. Paul, Anne Edwards, Carol Patrick, Celia Welch, and friends and neighbours of Waltham and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Dorothy Jerome, also known as Dudu, of Waltham St. Mark, will take place on Monday, 21st March. Funeral service will be held at the Victoria Seventh-day Adventist Church, and interment will be at the Coast Guard Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. John Reuben Merchant of Guyana, who resided in London and Grenada, passed away on Saturday, 12th February 2022, at the age of 79. He was the husband of Laurel Merchant, née Forrester, father of Carol Merchant Thompson and Alpha de Gale, father-in-law of Sean Thompson and Reggie de Gale, grandfather of Natalie and Michael de Gale, Shamar, Jaden and Saria Merchant Thompson, grandfather-in-law of Lucy de Gale, great-grandfather of Noah, Micah and Jonah de Gale, and Jada Charles Merchant, brother-in-law of Ruggles and Claudette Forrester and Dunbar Peters, uncle of Vivian Derrick, Lucretia Priestnell, Karen, Margaret, Magna Forrester, Elmer, Delmer, Roy and Wayne Edwards, grand and great-grand-uncle of Deborah and Debbie Derrick and Sabrina Derrick, many cousins including Iona Wilson, Beatrice Mingo, Norma Wilson, Rose Bart, Monica Frances, and Eleanor Small. Many other relatives and friends in Grenada, Guyana, Trinidad, London, Canada, and the USA, including the Forrester family of Paraclete, Birchgrove and Mirabeau, the Mason family of Hermitage, the McIntosh, de Gale, Nyack, George, and Thomas families of Paraclete, Joseph Brother John, Raymond Matthews, Tom Wilkins, Mary, Grace Frater, Merrill and Gus Redhead, Rosa Patterson and family, the Nolan and Thompson families, Joan Fleming, the Japal and Mahone families, the Brotherhood of St. Andrew and St. George's Amway Grenada chapter, the priests and parishioners of St. Andrew's Anglican Church, and friends and neighbours of Pearls and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late John Reuben Merchant of Pearls St. Andrew, who resided in London and Grenada, will take place on Tuesday, 22nd March at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. Andrew's Anglican Church, and interment will be at the family cemetery Pearls. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Terence Augustus Nicholas, also known as Police, of Molyneux St. George, passed away on Tuesday, 8th March 2022, at the age of 54. He was the husband of Althea Nicholas, father of Jen, Desmond in the USA, Chantel, Teresha, Kimberly, Tyrese, and Zayan. Grandfather of 11 including Jaheim, Tishon, Shanique, Keishon, Shaheem, Lyndon Jr., Simone, Trishon, and Janique. Brother of Kenneth and Karen in the USA, Martin also known as Charlie, and Nola in Grenada. Brother-in-law of Septimus Williams, Sarah and Adrienne Nicholas. Father-in-law of Kellen Mark, Wendell and Richardson. Nephew of Sandy Nicholas. Uncle of Keith, Kester, Kenrick, Kellon, Maura and Savannah in the USA, Salisha and Sherwin in Grenada. Many other close relatives and friends including the Nicholas, Harris, Modeste and Sylvester families of Molyneux and surrounding areas, the Smith family of St. Paul's, the Sylvester family of Willis, Rhonda, Jeffrey, Sharon Amede, Raymond Hambone Harris, the boys by Tanti May's shop, the staff of Amalgamated and Western Union, and friends and neighbours of Molyneux and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Terence Augustus Nicholas, also known as Police, of Molyneux St. George, will take place on Wednesday, 23rd March. Funeral service will be held at the Garden of Remembrance Funeral Chapel, Cemetery Hill, St. George's, according to Roman Catholic rites, and interment will be at the St. George's Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Thomas Tomkin, also known as Tomo, of Vincent St. David, who resided at Grand Anne's house in Scheme St. George, passed away on Wednesday, 2nd March 2022, at the age of 78. He was the husband of Bernadette Tomkin, also known as Edris, father of Gleno James in the USA, Raymond Paul, Judy Ann and Marlon Tomkin, also known as Sosa in Grenada, grandfather of Kelvin and Kyle James in the USA, father-in-law of Winston James in the USA, brother of Yolande, Kenroy, Denise, Francis, Francesca, Edwin, Marilyn, and Rachel in the UK, step-brother of Paul de Gans in Trinidad, in-laws including Osford and Joseph Jones, Cuthbert, Roy Noel, Edward Williams, Joy Mason, and Scylla Tomkin and Egbert Joseph, nephew of Joseph Tomkin, uncle of many including Angela, Jalessa, Sheree, Nathan, Kaisha, Darrell, Carl, Benjamin, Natasha, Andy, Joan, and Haran Gibbs. Many cousins, other relatives and friends including Constance, St. Joe and Martin Tomkin, the Brazan family, Patricia Steele and family, Terry Phillip and family, Pastor Ashley Church, Merlin Smith, Ruth Manwaran and family, Lauren Salim, Pauline Waldron, Shambe, Leroy George, Algie MacDonald, Roxanne Julian, and neighbours and friends of Vincent's and Grand Anne's house in Skene. The funeral of the late Thomas Tomkin, also known as Tomo, of Vincent St. David, who resided at Grand Anne's house in Scheme St. George, will take place on Wednesday, 23rd March at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Grand Anne's RC Church, and interment will be at the Grand Anne Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Barnabas Andrews, also known as Roger Andrews of Windsor Forest, St. David, passed away on Monday, 28th February 2022, at the age of 59. He was the father of Karen and Rena McSween, Kimon and Clinton McNeil, grandfather of Anaya, Anika, Destiny, and Latoya, son of Magdalene Andrews, also known as Tanti Cuthlin, and Ted Joseph, stepson of Emily Joseph, brother of Matthew, Derek, Gayleen and Andy Andrews, Kathy Ann and June Jones, Damien, Delon and Natasha Joseph, Andrea and Carrie, nephew of Nita Joseph, Margaret, Hermione, Basil, Godfrey and Matthew Andrews, uncle of many including Jared, Ryan, Melvin, Joshua, Tamika, Shondi, Raymond and Marlon, father-in-law of Carmel McNeil, brother-in-law of Beverly Thomas and Dolores Andrews. Many cousins, other relatives and friends in Grenada, Canada, the USA and Trinidad, including Claudia Whiteman and family, the Louison family, Pamela Bushell and family, June and family, Nelsia Thompson, the Joseph, Paul, Antoine and Mitchell families of Windsor Forest, Rudolph, Bruno, Anthony and Paul Telesford, the staff of Customs and Excise, the pastor and congregation of Prayers of Faith Sanctuary, and friends and neighbours of Windsor Forest and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Barnabas Andrews, also known as Roger Andrews of Windsor Forest, St. David, will take place on Thursday, 24th March at 2 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Prayers of Faith Sanctuary, Windsor Forest, St. David, and interment will be at the Windsor Forest Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Ian Redhead, also known as Flyers, of Hillsborough, who resided at Archibald Avenue, St. George, died on Friday, 11th March 2022, at the age of 63. The funeral arrangements for the late Ian Redhead, also known as Flyers, of Hillsborough, who resided at Archibald Avenue, St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Matthew Nelista Grant of Riversally St. Patrick, who resided at Lapotree St. Andrew and at Beaulieu St. George, passed away on Thursday, March 10th, 2022, at the age of 70. The funeral arrangements for the late Matthew Nelister Grant of Riversally St. Patrick, who resided at Laboratory St. Andrew and at Beaulieu St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lakwa Brothers Funeral Homes. Monica Cynthia Knight Martin, affectionately known as Monix, of Mountmorret St. George, passed away on Sunday 6th March 2022 at the age of 87. The funeral arrangements for the late Monica Cynthia Knight Martin, affectionately known as Monix of Mountmorret St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lakwa Brothers Funeral Homes. Eric Thomas of Paraclete St. Andrew passed away on Saturday 5th March 2022 at the age of 76. The funeral arrangements for the late Eric Thomas of Paraclete St. Andrew will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lakwa Brothers Funeral Homes. Veronica Horsford, née Bascom, of Retreat St. David, who resided in the USA, passed away on Tuesday 8th March 2022 at the age of 94. The funeral arrangements for the late Veronica Horsford, née Bascom, of Retreat St. David, who resided in the USA, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lakwa Brothers Funeral Homes.
Joseph Peterson of Shantimel St. Patrick, who resided in the United Kingdom, passed away on Friday 25th February in the UK at the age of 87. The funeral arrangement of the late Joseph Peterson of Shantimel St. Patrick, who resided in the United Kingdom, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Lakwa Brothers Funeral Home.
Cyprian Batiste, also known as Sippo and Dread, of Pedmotar St. David, passed away on Thursday, March 3rd, 2022, at the age of 62. The funeral arrangements for the late Cyprian Batiste, also known as Sippo and Dread, of Pedmotar St. David, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lakwa Brothers Funeral Homes. Monica Cador, née Langain of Concord St. John, passed away on Saturday 5th March 2022 at the age of 91. The funeral arrangements for the late Monica Cador, née Langain of Concord St. John, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lakwa Brothers Funeral Homes. Velma Ada Murray of Monkridge St. Patrick, who resided at Grenville Street, St. George's, passed away on Friday 4th March 2022 at the age of 71. The funeral arrangements for the late Velma Ada Murray of Monkridge St. Patrick, who resided at Grenville Street, St. George's, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lakwa Brothers Funeral Homes. Wayne Celestine, also known as Sion or Fish, of Mamacan St. Andrew, died on Wednesday, 16th February 2022 at the age of 59. The funeral arrangements for the late Wayne Celestine, also known as Sion or Fish of Mamacan St. Andrew, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home.
The management and staff of MTV extend deepest condolences to those of you whose loved ones have passed on. Thanks for watching.
The Bible, this book, familiar to every person on the face of the earth today, gives us directions for our life. When death comes, there is great sorrow to the family and friends and loved ones of the one that has passed on. But if we put our trust in the Lord Jesus Christ and we follow the instructions of this book, we know we will meet again We don't take it lightly. We don't take it for granted. There must be a decision. Because without a decision, the decision is made to be separated from God. So put your trust in the Lord. Believe. The thief on the cross said, Lord, consider me. And Jesus said, today you would be with me, this very hour. And they died together. So put your trust in the Lord, and God bless you during your time of grief and bereavement. Put your trust in the Lord.